The morning rush in downtown Manhattan was as brutal as ever. Luxury cars lined the street, and men in crisp suits hurried past without sparing. A glance for the man sitting on the cold pavement. He was filthy, wrapped in a torn brown coat, his beard overgrown, his eyes sunken but strangely calm. Beside him was a small cardboard sign, "Just need a chance." Most people ignored him, but one man didn't, not out of kindness but mockery. Marcus Hale, the 38-year-old CEO of one of the city's fastest-growing tech firms, paused in front of the homeless man. He adjusted his $1,000 tie, smirked, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "You're sitting in front of my building. Try not to scare away my clients." The homeless man slowly lifted his head. His voice was hoarse but steady. "You used to be better than this, Marcus." The CEO froze. "How do you know my name?" Before he could answer, a black SUV stopped at the curb. The driver stepped out, looked at the homeless man, and whispered something that made Marcus's face drain of color. Within seconds, the proud CEO's arrogance shattered like glass. And what happened next would haunt him for the rest of his life. Marcus Hale was the golden boy of New York's corporate world. Born to nothing, he built his empire from the ground up, or at least that's what everyone believed. He was ruthless in business, charming on camera, and merciless to those he considered beneath him. His company, Hale Tech, had just gone public. Overnight, he became a multimillionaire. But success had changed him. He no longer saw people in the only positions. His assistant once said, "Marcus doesn't have employees, he has tools." Every morning, he'd walk into his building sipping imported coffee, never noticing the old man who sat quietly by the steps. The staff had grown used to the homeless figure. Some left him scraps, others just passed by. But Marcus hated the sight of him. He once told security, "Move that man somewhere else. He's bad for our image." But today, that man, that homeless stranger, then had spoken his name. Inside his glass office, Marcus couldn't shake the voice from his mind. He paced, trying to remember where he had seen those eyes before. There was something hauntingly familiar about them, something from a past he'd buried deep. His secretary, Julia, entered with a folder. "Sir, the investor from London is here for the 10 a.m. meeting." Marcus nodded, but was visibly distracted. He turned toward the window and saw the homeless man still there, staring straight up at him from the street below. The meeting began, but Marcus couldn't focus. As his investors discussed profits and shares, all he could think of was that voice. "You used to be better than this, Marcus." When the meeting ended, Marcus stormed outside. The homeless man was gone, but his folded cardboard sign remained, now with new words scribbled across it. "I waited for you, little brother." Marcus froze. His heart began to pound. Memories flooded in. A small house on the edge of town. 2 boys growing up together in poverty, promising to never abandon each other. His brother Daniel. They had been inseparable until tragedy struck. Their parents died in a car accident, and Daniel had fallen into depression, addiction, and eventually homelessness. Marcus had promised to take care of him, but after getting his first big job, he cut all contact. He didn't want a junkie ruining his image. Now, all these years later, Daniel was back, sitting outside his building. Marcus rushed to the nearest shelters and hospitals searching for him. Finally, at a soup kitchen, he found him sitting quietly, eating from a paper bowl. "Daniel," Marcus whispered. Daniel looked up, calm but distant. "So now you remember me?" Marcus's voice cracked. "Why didn't you come to me?" "I did. You told me to go away." "You said you didn't have a brother." Marcus fell to his knees, tears forming. The other people in the shelter stared, whispering. The mighty CEO crying at the feet of a homeless man. Daniel's eyes softened, but his voice stayed steady. "I didn't want your money, Marcus. I just wanted my brother back." Days later, Marcus brought Daniel home. He got him cleaned up, shaved, and gave him a guest room in his penthouse. For the first time in years, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in decades: peace. But one night, while going through old documents, Marcus discovered something shocking. Daniel had once worked for his company under a fake name. He had applied for a junior tech position, and Marcus himself had signed the rejection letter. Daniel had been right there trying to rebuild his life, and Marcus had shut the door on him without even realizing it. Tears rolled down Marcus's face as he stared at the letter. The next morning, he walked to Daniel's room, but the bed was empty. On the pillow was a note. "You finally saw me, and that's enough. Don't look for me. Just be the man Mom wanted you to be." Marcus ran outside, searching the streets for hours. He never found Daniel again. That night, for the first time, Marcus canceled all his meetings, sat on the sidewalk outside his own building, and placed a sign beside him that read, "I once forgot where I came from. Don't make the same mistake." News spread like wildfire. Photos of the billionaire CEO sitting on the pavement went viral overnight. People thought it was a publicity stunt, until Marcus spoke publicly. At a press conference, he said, "I mocked a man who reminded me of everything I lost: kindness, humility, family. That man was my brother, and I'll spend the rest of my life making sure no one else feels invisible." He launched a foundation named Second Chance, dedicated to helping homeless people find jobs and housing. Marcus never found Daniel again, but he often left food and a warm blanket outside his building, just in case. Every morning, he looked at the empty spot on the sidewalk and whispered, "Thank you for breaking me, brother, so I could finally heal." And from that day on, people in the city didn't just see a CEO. They saw a man who learned that wealth means nothing. If you lose your humanity, moral. Never judge the broken. They might be the ones who once held you together.